Hello, Fisker family, and welcome to another episode of Ocean Currents. I'm one of your co-hosts, Andrew Bach. As I stated in the teaser episode released last week, our goal was to bring you interviews with all three candidates for president for the Owners Association, those being Christian Fleming, Mitch, Amant, and Ray Brown. I have thus far only been able to record the interview with Mitchell, and have made efforts to get both Christian and Ray recorded as well. Unfortunately, have not been able to find time to get those done. So I did not want to keep the great conversation and the interview that I had with Mitch yesterday from not making it to your ears. If we are able to get additional interviews with Christian and Ray recorded, I will make sure that those get out to you. And if not, at the very least, you'll be able to hear from Mitch, who many of you have not yet heard from him. I know many of us have been watching Christian do a phenomenal job leading the Owners Association to this point. So at least you're going to be able to hear from one of the other candidates here and get some perspective, get some of their perspective as to how they think the Fisker Owners Association can be led. Hey everyone, here Andrew with the Ocean Current, Andrew Bach with the Ocean Currents podcast. I'm here with Mitchell St. Amant, who is one of three candidates that we have on the ballot for Fisker Owners Association president for the vote that closes this Friday. Mitchell, nice to meet you.
Thank you so much, Andrew. Nice to meet you as well. Before we start, I just wanted to start off by thanking yourself for the invitation. And also to the FOA founders, volunteers, and also all of the fellow FOA members. It's an amazing community, and I'm very honored to be a part of it.
Great. Thanks for sharing that. So why don't you start by telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, and what you think makes all of that valuable for the Fisker Owners Association president role.
Thank you. Perfect. Yeah. So my name is Mitchell St. Amant. I'm located in Waterloo, Ontario, Canada. I am a technophile by nature. I've always been interested in tech, working in tech. I've always been fascinated with technology, automotive tech being one of them, but software, everything you can imagine. And I've just been very technical in nature kind of my entire life. And in terms of my professional experience, like I said, my background is in computer software engineering. I've led several companies myself, involving computer IT services, and all the way up to I've gone through the whole process of actually selling those startups and kind of managing those businesses end to end. So I think that in general, that kind of business management experience is something that really speaks to, having to do everything in a business. You really learn all the different roles and kind of what's required. And I think right now, in terms of the FOA, we're at a pivotal moment with the FOA's direction. So at the beginning of the year, obviously, it transitioned from a purely donations-based community to an official member-supported organization. So that shift, to me, it demands a new kind of leadership strategy, focused on transparency, accountability, but most importantly, strategic use of our member contributions. So my priority is ensuring that all the FOA members feel supported, informed, and confident in their vehicle's future with clear access to parts, service, and software.
So it sounds like the primary focus, or one of the things that you are really wanting to highlight here, is the attention to service and that side of the operation. What is driving the focus on that part of the business versus anything else?
Great question. So I think just being quite active in the forums and the community. I think generally, while there's been a lot of great work done around parts, around service, I think one of the biggest gaps is relating to kind of that customer service element. And especially, like I said, now that it's something that, we as members are paying to have this organization run. And I think that kind of there's expectations to get, of what am I getting out of that. And I think, it's nice to say we're trying our best, but to me, because of kind of the financial contributions that are involved, we're in a different, we have to actually deliver, trackable metrics and deliver a better experience than when it was just a strictly donations based. So just generally the sentiment, I think there's as great as a forum can be, I do think there's a lot of improvement around kind of structuring the ownership resources in a better way. And kind of like I said, from a tech background, I think the discourse platform is great. I do envision a better, more consolidated kind of owner center, if you will, that has, everything in one place. Not the discussions, but just, in terms of manuals, parts of it, even connecting with I think that needs to really be ironed out better. I think the idea of searching, in discourse is not great for search. So it's been difficult. And I think there's a lot of people that bring up the same topics because they couldn't find what they were looking for, and these threads that go on and on. So I think we really need to focus on the experience for members. And I think the frustration that I've seen kind of come out there and, experienced by myself, that's why I chose that as my priority.
Interesting. Yeah. What excites you most about sort of what the Owners Association has done already, and sort of what the opportunity is for the community moving forward?
I think, I think I remember seeing somewhere that it's the first, the idea of, it's the first, member-owned car company. So to say, that was just, I think the idea of it is really kind of foundational and doesn't really exist anywhere else. It's super interesting. I love kind of being on that precipice of something that's just brand new. It's been an extremely positive experience for me as somebody who was kind of, left with, what is this vehicle? How do I keep this vehicle in my life and because I do love it. And so for me, that the fact that it was already there, from the beginning, for me, and I can see how much it's been a value to me. And I can only imagine, and I've heard stories on the forum and seen people's experience, and that to me, that's making a real difference. So I think that only gets amplified by kind of formalizing more of the efforts. And I think that to me is just looking at what's been done with the resources and the structure that existed prior and exists now, is incredible. So I can only imagine if we, have some more structure and additional accountability in place, I think sky's the limit. And I think really just the amount of people from, all around the world that I've had the pleasure of communicating with on the community really gets me. I mean, it's a great group of people. We have so many incredible, talented contributors that volunteer their time. And I think that's really what excites me, because I know what's possible when you have those people, when you have the people there. So yeah, so that's what drives me. I think the kind of potential aspect of what I think the community, based on what it's already done to this date, and kind of where I see things going, I think 2025 is going to be an incredibly exciting year for the FOA. Like I said, the first official year being, transitioning from that donations-based community to an official member-supported org. I think just we'll kind of put things into the next year, and I do think that whether it's myself or one of the many talented candidates, I think it's gonna lead to a much more incredible long-term success story for the FOA.
So what would you say are some of the things that are working best right now? What are the areas that you would sort of immediately try and improve upon as it relates to sort of the operation of the FOA, or at least how you understand the operation of the FOA to exist?
Great question. So I think some of the things that are working, like I said, the community platform and the ability to have kind of free and open discussions that's amazing. That's working fantastic. I feel like the general community involvement is incredibly high from a engagement perspective. That's amazing. I think also that the work that Tsunami has done with the parts sourcing and kind of making those contacts, in addition to kind of the negotiations with American Lease regarding the Fisker Cloud and software IP. That's incredible. Like, I mean, that's been a lot of, I know those things are not easy to move. Both of those components have so many moving parts. So the efforts around that have just been incredible. Where I think there's opportunity, like I said, I do think the owner resources in terms of looking for kind of how to and getting, fixes for things that are common fixes. That is not that involves a lot of searching, a lot of threads. I think that needs to be improved. I think, again, kind of, looking at kind of from the end user perspective, that the kind of customer journey for that, for all of us members, needs to be more streamlined. Absolutely. So in addition to kind of just one of my key points in my kind of my pitch was to increase the transparency. There are a lot of individuals involved that have, various roles and are kind of behind the scenes and don't really, they won't surface. They'll say something on a comment and you're just like, oh, that's so-and-so and this is what I take care of. I think that's great, but I don't think, I think that needs to be formalized, and then there needs to be like, just like as if you go to an investor site for a publicly traded company, you need to see who's responsible for what in any official capacity. That needs to be, just from a pure optics perspective, but also just from a point of contact. I think you need to envision, everyone needs to have a view of the org and kind of who's working on what. I think that's something that really needs to be ironed out. And like I said, to me, this is an opportunity for us to kind of put the structures in place, or just, like I said, just expose them. I don't doubt that, based on a lot of my interactions, there's already people in these roles. It's just a matter of actually putting it in a something that, is visible to the members.
Makes sense. Tell us a little bit about your sort of own personal Fisker journey. When did you sign on? What did you get? All that.
Yeah, I mean, so I have a 2023 Fisker Ocean One that is finished in blue planet with the Mali blue interior and the silver slipstream rims. I took delivery early 2024. And like I said, I fell in love with, I'm a big fan of the design of the vehicle, the ride quality, and I just all of the quirky features that make it unique. I really am, like I said, this is actually my first EV. So it was also a big decision in terms of that going electric. And I think for me, kind of the original vision of what it could do as an electric vehicle and kind of its mantra, so its ethos, so to speak. That's kind of what sold me. So that's my Fisker journey.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think that's true for a lot of us. Bought in on a lot of the design and the sort of quirkiness of it and the unique elements of the vehicle. So that makes sense. Anything else you want to share with the FOA community or audience as before we close out?
I just wanted again to thank all the volunteers who I know many of them are, like I said, many of them aren't listed anywhere and are doing thankless things behind the scenes. So I really, and also, like I said, to the original founders of the FOA, the fact that they've, their vision of what this has gone, I can only imagine, but the work that's taken is really incredible. And also to all of the other candidates that have put forth their name for roles, regardless of the outcome. Obviously, we all want to strengthen the FOA and ensure its long-term success. So I'm looking forward to continuing the ride.
Absolutely. Mitchell, appreciate the time, and good luck with the voting process and election here. And I'm sure you'll be involved in the FOA community here along with us one way or another. Appreciate you spending some time with us.
Awesome, Andrew. Yeah, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure we'll chat again soon.
Absolutely. Thanks.
Thanks so much. Bye.
Thanks for listening, everyone.